Hachette Audio presents Crowning Design, written by Leila Meacham, read by Linda Henning.
To Richard, again. A letter to my friends, fans, readers of my later-in-life novels, and newcomers to the books of Leila Meacham. Dear ones, Crowning Design is the last to be republished of the 3 romances I wrote in the mid-'80s. The other 2, Ryan's Hand and Allie's House, were re-released last year with prefaces like this one, explaining that at the time of their writing 33 years ago, I had no idea how to go about putting together a book, a deficit that I hope will not be too apparent in this one. For those of you who have never written a book-length narrative, and for those of you who would like to, let me say that there is no agony like facing a blank page in a typewriter, or computer if you are of the electronically literate, with no idea of what or who to write about when you've been paid to do so by a certain deadline. And that's exactly the position I found myself in when I first began to write Crowning Design. Ryan's Hand had been published, and I was under contract to produce 2 more romances, never having believed I could write the first one. So there I sat, racking my brain to come up with something containing characters, plot, and setting. If I failed, I could see my advance flying from my hand back to the publisher and my name forever shamed in publishing circles. Now I chuckle at the huge and absurd importance I gave myself. My advance would hardly have covered the bill for hamburgers and fries for 2 at a coffee shop, and nobody in publishing circles had a clue or cared the slightest who I was. But I cared, and I wanted to tell an interesting story. Now, those of you who've read my previous letters to fans and readers as introductions to Ryan's Hand and Allie's House already know that I don't follow the tried and true rule of fiction writing that instructs writers to write what they know. I write about what I don't know and then learn from research. So there I sat, empty-brained the day the idea hit me for Crowning Design. Funny, odd, strange how a long-ago memory of a detail can leap out of the past at just the right moment and spawn a whole world, or book, of possibilities. Perhaps it only happens to writers under deadline looking at a blank page, but it happened to me. Somehow I was back in high school, sitting in Miss Harbin's biology class. We called unmarried women Miss.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?